Hey, good morning and good evening from whichever corner of the globe that you hail from. In the words of the infamous Curtis Wilson, it's the weekend, baby. And boy, have we had a week. so, um, the esteemed members of my panel, I like to introduce first the one and only Sega Man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sega Man 101 here with my exile brothers, Fire Boss and ODT Reaper. And I really can't wait to get into the weekly wrap up, man, and these topics we have to talk about tonight. Welcome.
Yes, sir. And of course, the mysterious ODT Reaper hiding in the corner.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's enjoying their wonderful fall so far. We're about to be in October too.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
No trick or treating this year.
I think we're gonna have a spooky holiday. To be perfectly honest, with Japan being absolutely devoid of all ability to get Xbox, that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
We'll have our phone. I bet we'll have our phones ready.
Boy, just as long as it don't become like a situation like I don't know if y'all ever seen the video of when they finally launched the PS3 over there. It's like you would have never have thought that the Japanese were ones to do like Black Friday type stuff like we do over here.
Mm-hmm.
But they showed one line that they got pretty about it.
Yeah, they did.
Well, I do got to say I am actually happy Apple decided to play nice and cooperate for once in their lives. So we're going to have a full speed ahead, at least I think so. But I know that wasn't easy for them to do, and it's probably still not going to be easy for quite some time. But at least we're allowed to have access to the iOS.
Yep.
Access was the key problem, but they gave access. Whether they tax you or not, that's always fun.
Yep, never be afraid for new things, but we'll see how that works because the thing is they may have allowed that, but you never know what's behind the scene. It's going to be a bit of a stipulation.
No, you don't. But that's always kind of the mystery of trying to think of something new and how to fix it.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of that's the problem with creating something that's never been tried before, or it's an experiment because you don't know what might go wrong with it because it's never been tried before or actually made. So you don't know what the effect would be. And it took them years to fix that red ring when all the red ring is a hard drive overheating issue. And then your wonderful PS3 turned into a wonderful, grill on the side. Although I think you can get more problems with your 360s.
Yeah. So, but so far, it looks like it's going to be a lot more better than the 360 and the Xbox One over there going into this generation. So, yesterday we had the Microsoft's event day for Tokyo Game Show, and so far, I mean, at least for me, as I've been peeking in on it and checking it out and using, Google Translate to the best of my ability and based off my own little, experience of dealing with the Japanese language. Because I will tell you this much, the Japanese language is not very smooth. It's not perfect for getting booty. it is not a very fluent language. It's among one of the hardest ones to learn. I think probably third from Chinese. Because but the thing is that you can, if you dealt with a few of Japanese folks face to face and everything, which I have when I was over there for like a little over a month when I was stationed in Hawaii. I flew over there just to take some leave and wound up actually living with somebody. And so I got to actually, be, hands-on with, with their lifestyle and everything. And so, like I said, it's not a very smooth language, But if you learn how to like, piece things together, you can kind of like, get a good picture of like, oh, okay, they are definitely not liking this. Oh, okay, all right. They seem to have mixed feelings about it. And for a lot of the stuff for the 360 and the Xbox One, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. So just as I was like, telling like you guys, I believe a few Exile podcasts ago, was that the Japanese, surprisingly, there is a pretty strong fan base over there for Xbox, which contrary to what a lot of people thought. But the big frustration seems to be that there's no advertising, there's no marketing, and I don't know what I can't speak. I don't know what to say about that because even when I was over there, Xbox wasn't even out yet. So I mean, yeah, I mean, we've seen the EGM pictures of Bill Gates on the stage with the big plastic X and stuff, beside him in the acrylic case, shaking hands with Rock, but the system wasn't out yet. At least when I went. So yeah. I really couldn't, vouch for what they're saying about there's no billboards, there's no signs. And, of course, there's the video of the one guy who's walking around from, he's walking around, Akabara, however you pronounce it, and Shinjuku. And oh, no, Akabara. It's okay. Yeah. It's an area in Tokyo that's synonymous with gaming. Well, pretty much anything that's nerd life. So be it PC and gaming, just gaming in general, or anime and manga. It's kind of like their mecca.
Yeah. Okay.
And Shinjuku is more on the lines of like with gaming, synonymous with gaming. And so he's walking around these key hotspots, and he's like, "There's no ads, there's no billboards." He's like basically he says that if these things can be put into place, that will really help, because he said he really, really wants to see Japan really start gravitating towards that brand.
Yeah.
And he's went into the stores and he's pointing out like a single shelf tucked away in a corner of the back of the store where there's there's no Xbox units. There's just peripherals and some games and all that. And in order to get the systems, you have to order them.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to do it manually.
Yeah. So basically, this generation coming up looks like it's going to be vastly different now. And
very different.
Yes, it's going to. I mean, I want to say it's also probably due to COVID as well, but it's a whole new world now. So looking at the TGS event and stuff like that, they didn't go into any newer next gen type news, but they did share some next gen stuff. They mainly seem to zero in on showing Flight Simulator, at least the flying over in Japan. They went into Minecraft, which surprisingly, I never knew that they were knee deep into Minecraft like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck knee deep. I'm talking about chest deep.
Well, it's because of the Japan fan base that it got so big, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty big thing there. So I can imagine that if they could somehow or another finagle that ray tracing patch to be ready by launch and stuff like that, that would be phenomenal. And I hope that they're able to do that, as well as like shock and surprises with oh hey, guess what, flight sim launch.
Yeah.
that would be perfect. But yeah, so they just mainly went into those things. It was surprising that they didn't talk about or show anything with Phantasy Star Online 2. They didn't really. I mean, they showed games, a few of them that we may have already seen, like the Pure Tetris.
Yeah.
What else? They discussed near automata, but that was more like bleeding over into the square session. So it was, like I said, it was just made. It was pretty low key, but it seemed to have drove up some interest. And then the most interesting thing I've seen that kind of like, it's too soon to say, I'll admit, but it does drive home some hope of them really establishing that long overdue foothold over there. Just like how Sony at their showing back in, was it June, I believe, the beginning of June, their big showing where they revealed the PS5, how they had all those developers like like chiming in saying something.
Yeah.
They did that. They did something sort of. I don't even want to say it was kind of a clapback, but they had all these big Japanese developers, like the guy over Square Enix, these dude, the CEO of Sega, all of them, like saying like hi from Japan and how excited they are. They are to dive into developing for the X and the S, and they're like really really anxious to work with Phil Spencer. His name comes up a lot. So all those frequent flyer miles stacking up going over there seem to have been amounting to something. So
Well,
yeah,
probably because of Game Pass too. They know what Game Pass is like. And those developers that don't get known over there might have
yeah.
a shot to put their games on Game Pass. That's their big shot right there, so they can get their game out there.
Yes, and that's the other thing. And yeah, Sega man, that's the other thing that they were going on and on, gushing on about, was Game Pass. So contrary to a certain Coke Daddy's thoughts about Game Pass having no real value as
Yeah.
to why they won't pursue it themselves for the PlayStation. If that's the case, a lot of these developers, including the ones over there who are known to be very hard nosed to anything new, they don't seem to agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, like I said, it's leading up into a very new, interesting generation. But like I said, I don't know if you guys got a chance to take a peek at it, but that's what I seen. So did you get to see any of it, ODT?
No, I did not, but I heard reviews and I pretty much agree with everybody's up-to-date information.
Okay, what about you, Sega man?
Did I get to see the Tokyo the show?
Yeah, I mean, just
No.
peeking on any of it.
No, actually, I didn't. I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see it at all, man. It was going on earlier, right? I probably was at work.
Oh, okay. Well, if anything, it should be available, and should be available in a 4K. So if
Well, I'm gonna watch it later.
yeah, so if any of y'all want to like take a peek at it, it's, I'll say this. If it's being put back up, maybe the good folks at Xbox might have translations there. But for me, I had to turn on the closed captions for YouTube, and then from there have it auto translate to English, which it's not very smooth. It's very painful, but because I guess you could say I'm used to it. It's it's no problem for me. But hopefully, if they re-upped it in a higher resolution and everything, it might have some subtitles with it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
So this segues into the next talking point, which is going on about how, I mean, have you dudes seen the tweets and all social media going ape as to how fast Japan sold out of the Series S and X?
Well, hey, boss, man, this is actually an ODT. This is actually a phenomenon for a U.S. American system to outsell in Japan, because that's never been done.
That's
I had
It's
to-
never.
I had to peek outside my window.
That's never ever been done, and this is history in the making. That the Xboxes are sold out over there. The Xbox 360 and the OG Xbox didn't even scrape, make a scrape really over there. Like a few people, man. But this is amazing what this Series S and X are doing, man. For it to be sold out over in Japan, dude. That's like to be written in history, in gaming history, for that to happen, man.
I'm serious, dude. I had to peek outside my window to kind of like look to see if, like, how the Matrix, how you look at something glitches. I had to make sure. I had to make sure, like, like, okay, all right, it's reality. But yeah, I mean, dude, the only other system of theirs that did decent was the 360, and that was only because they packaged it with first they packaged it with Blue Dragon. And then they did a second pack promo packaging with Lost Odyssey. So I'm really, really, really hoping and crossing my fingers and praying that Phil is talking to Sakaguchi, and he's going to bring them back, because that's all that's left. And I came across at least 2 Japanese guys on YouTube where they seem to have that sentiment, whereas Phil Spencer need to knock down 2 Japanese developers, at least 2. And I'm telling you, the ones that keep coming to my mind is Grounded Inc. and Mistwalker. He's got to bring them back, because he's had the best Xbox as well as Microsoft overall has had the best relationship with those 2 guys. Yeah, with Yoshio and Sakaguchi. So
Sakaguchi and Itagaki, you remember the guy that made Dead or Alive?
Yeah,
be nice to have him come back on board doing something.
Dude, give him the money. I know he's over the whole Valhalla Soft thing.
Yeah,
but they aren't really doing anything. So and so to me, it's like, if they were in talks with this dude and just plunking money on him, saying, "Build your studio," man, that would be perfect. That would be my fangasm moment right there. But yeah, dude, you're right. This is like completely breaking also, and breaking stuff. I mean, apparently, according to some people, some insiders, apparently it was breaking a lot of records.
Oh yeah, I most definitely believe that, man. Yeah.
So man, yeah, this.
I mean, there's a first time for everything, right?
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, having chocolate one time in your life and then going 7 years without it and then having it again finally?
Yeah.
But this time is a bigger chunk than it was the first time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, and a Fire Boss, Hebot called this. This might be the 360 era again with these systems, man. I'm serious, man. I think it's gonna be the 360 era again, man. For it to be sold out over there that's just, I don't have no words for that, man, because they never ever liked any of like things like we really had. I mean, Xbox didn't have a chance over there, and they tried so hard back in the day with the OG, with Seamus Blackley and all them. They tried so hard with the OG Xbox, and now the 360 I think did a little bit better, but the first Xbox didn't do good at all over there. You know what I'm saying?
It was definitely a marketing and messaging thing, because I think it was a different mindset back then. And oh yeah, by the way, if any of you see Hebot, because he's not showing up for me, please do definitely send him a link.
Okay.
To him. But I mean, if he's available, because I know the man is busy. I mean, I know he's Puerto Rican, but he's like, he's Jamaican. He's all over the place.
Well, I'm gonna try to see if I can. Go ahead, boss. I'm gonna try to see if I can send the link to him.
Okay. But yeah, and new legal hasn't message back or anything. So it
Okay.
probably might just be the three of us. But yeah, so
Is he is he
hmm?
on? Is he actually active? Is he on somewhere?
It's not showing
No.
on. It just showed he was well when I told you earlier, it showed that he was on like 23 minutes ago, but
Yeah.
now I think he's like MIA for like almost 45.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the 360 did a little bit better, and I think it was a messaging and mindset thing, because really back then at that time, and I can attest to that being over there. They were very, very hard lined, nationalistic,
Yeah.
and and the only things that really seemed to have grabbed any sort of a foothold over there was things like Coca-Cola, Levi's jeans, uh, McDonald's, and KFC.
That sounds about
Those,
right.
yeah, I mean, and I think the only reason why is because it was just something fresh and different.
Yeah.
Whereas like these are things that they weren't dabbling in themselves. They weren't over there flipping burgers and deep frying, potatoes and stuff, and making milkshakes. They weren't doing that type of stuff. So this was something new for them. But when it came to like the Xbox, this was like treading upon territory that to them, this is where it became, at least just in my thoughts, this is where it became a how dare you moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like coming into a members only club. And because I guess, to a lot of gamers around that time, anything Western as far as gaming goes was not, always 100% good. Yeah, you had your success stories like Doom and, Mortal Kombat, especially the ante up against Street Fighter. But there was like always this mindset that, they didn't know what gaming and game design really was. So, so when Bill,
Yeah.
tried to push the Xbox over there was the mindset of knowing what he was up to. And I see he bought, and he's
Yep. I
in.
sent him the link. I sent him the link.
Yep,
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
What's
man.
up, man?
It's an
Thanks for coming
emergency.
in on the weekly wrap.
Oh, you doing your own weekly rap? Nice. What's up, brother?
Yeah, man. What's up, man?
Yeah,
Just
man.
there under
Yeah,
the
we
weather.
thought.
You know.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that I'm having not a good day. Like I'm feeling a little under the weather, but just hanging in there. You know how it is.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
You okay?
Well, the symptoms that I'm getting. You know what I have, but
Yeah.
you gotta do. You
Man,
gotta
stay on
do it.
top of that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He bought. Stay on top of that, dude. Seriously. When
Yeah.
you're talking about cold-like symptoms, please do, man.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's just been hard with the coronavirus because of the fact that the doctors don't want to always. They don't really see you. It's virtual. They see you virtually, then they have you come in and do tests, but you don't really get to see them on a regular. You know what I mean? So I'm dealing with a
Yeah.
couple of things pretty severe that are painful. I can tell you guys later, but
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's up, man? What's the topics? What are we talking about right now?
Tell him, boss. Ask him, man, about what he thinks of what was it? The system selling over in Japan?
Oh yeah. Tonight's topics was basically the way I do the weekly wrap is basically it's just that. It's just a wrap up of everything that's transpired throughout the week. So I
Okay.
started off asking everybody if they got to take a peek at at Microsoft's opening day for the Tokyo Game Show.
Right.
And I was telling everybody that just like I was saying in the Exile podcast a few days back, was that there's shockingly a pretty decent sized fan base over there for Xbox. And it's like you can really see how much they're really showing more interest and drive towards the brand now. And
Right.
also at the end, yeah, and I had no idea that they had a Minecraft community that was that deep into the game.
Right.
So
Well, it's the execution, Fireballs. It's the execution. Um, Phil a while back, and all you guys are very aware of it. Sega Man, because we've been following
Yeah.
Microsoft, and we've been following
Oh, yeah.
step by step. Instead of just trying to throw edge at them, we've been trying to listen, right, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, Phil said a while back. He said, "Listen, I want to build relationships. I want to build no more barriers with Japan because it's part of the video game culture in a big way, right? With a lot of the developments and developers and gaming and that has transpired big time here in the States, right? And that was embraced, obviously, because to be honest, it was Americans who made gaming bigger than ever before with the release of the NES because we supported it. We made it big. It was doing okay in Japan. It was doing good, but not to the numbers that America made it get to. So once that happened, right? People fail to realize that the American, community in gaming, we're the ones who embrace Japanese developers, cultures, anime, their lifestyle, their movies, everything, because we respect them and we see a lot of wonderful things from them, right? And people,
Yeah.
fail to realize that now, a lot of other people are coming in from Western developers, Europe, a lot of amazing European developers, and for some reason, in Japan, they don't embrace us back, right? And that's where we get the term, well, the Japs don't care about us because it's abbreviated. It's not to disrespect, right? And I think that's what Phil wants to change. Phil wants to be the one to say, I made a relationship where Xbox was welcomed with open arms and beloved in Japan finally. Because it's one of the markets that he wants to keep close because he respects them for what they've done for gaming. And yet Microsoft, unfortunately, has never been able to grasp that audience. And a lot of it has to do is because they are very nationalistic in the sense that they love supporting their brands. That's why the Switch does well because it's Nintendo, and PlayStation does well because it's Sony and they're Japanese known brands, right? Even though they've changed a lot of their ways and they have more of that vibe and feel of, they feel more Western than Japanese now, to be honest with you, because they barely even market their Japanese things the way they used to back in the day. But the games are there because you see them. They only come out there. They only come out on Xbox a lot of times, like Neo, right? For example, they didn't even pay for that. They just published it here. In Japan, they did it. It's owned by Tecmo. They developed it. They didn't pay for the development, yet it never made it to Xbox. For example, just one example, right? Or Persona, or something like Berserk, or something like Fist of the North Star, which are very big licensing based off animations that have games that are fairly decent and that deserve to be on Xbox, but not. But I think Phil's strategy is genius because remember, anything that gets put on Game Pass is because they paid them up front, right? And I think his thought process behind that was, well, if I start paying these developers to put the games there, like Yakuza, right? Finally made it to Xbox, like Final Fantasy, right? And they start to see the benefits on top of getting paid by us, the benefits and profits that they're making, that there's an audience on Xbox for these games from Japan.
And don't forget, Hebot, they're also entitled to be able to charge for any microtransactions.
Absolutely, and the pricing, everything. Yes, everything. So they have control of it, right? They just got to share a percentage, which I think is 30% with Microsoft, right? But it's a lot better than even putting it physically, because I always told people Japan holds no risk bringing out games here because through digital, right, through the market, because they don't have to pay for the shipping, right? They don't have to pay for cost to have it stored in stores, shelf space, marketing, nothing. They just put it in the store digitally, right? They're available, and they're going to get a bigger profit than anyone else. They're getting 70% earnings of whatever it makes, right? Because they only give Microsoft 30 or 20% from the store. So it's no longer that idea or that excuse, but it's that in Japan, they make money because they have an audience. But if they start shipping them out to Xbox here in the US, they got to pay for that shipping. They got to pay for that storage, shelf space, market. You get what I'm saying? That's always been the excuse.
That's added tax.
Which is true. It does mean they have to pay out more people, but there's no longer that barrier with digital distribution. You understand?
Yep. And it's so funny. Mr. Jim Coke Daddy Ryan feels that Game Pass is not a profitable solution that even Sony could even pursue. But yet because it's funny, everything you're saying is what I was getting to, talking to Sega Man and ODT. It's funny because coinciding with what you're saying, it's like, if Game Pass was such a bad thing, a lot of those big developers are over there speaking volumes about it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're speaking in a positive way. But get this, Fireboss, listen to this. The biggest thing that people don't realize that Phil is using, his biggest secret weapon, that's going to captivate and capture the Japanese audience more than anybody else, because they're really the only ones that are offering it at no additional cost, is cloud gaming.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese market and audience love gaming on the go.
Yeah.
That's why when you look at their numbers with the phones, their highest gaming numbers is always portable on the phone or tablets. And Phil, in his beautiful opening presentation that he did with the Tokyo Game Show, if you guys saw it when it was translated, he said very clearly, we want to put the best quality servers in Japan, so that when people get their hands on cloud gaming through the xCloud, they get the best, highest quality experience without any worries of bad quality, right? With games. Because he knows if they don't buy the box, at least they'll still play on the service through their phones, tablets, and even on their PCs, right? On the go.
Yep, and pretty soon their iPhones.
Right. And that was also his mental idea and his madness in the idea of bringing it to other countries where they can't even have consoles ported and shipped to them because it's too expensive or it's not allowed by law legally. But they're allowed to play the internet, right?
This
is why it's trying to capture people through these services. Many people take it as, oh, Phil and Microsoft, they just want to take our rights away. They just want to take our gaming properties away. They just want to own everything and we don't own anything when they're not seeing the picture.
Or how about this bullshit he bought? This is just their way of bowing out of the console business and going third party like Sega.
Right.
Sega ain't do nothing like this.
Example, Sega couldn't afford it. Of course not. Not even close. Not even in the same realm. Plus, Fireboss, that's a great point that you're bringing up, because think about this. Why would Microsoft buy Bethesda, for example, right? For $7.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
To then go and put it on PlayStation, their IPs, right? And we're not talking about the deals they have with Deadloop. We already know. Those are already in place. They said they're going to meet those deals because, they're going to keep their word. Why would they buy them to then put it on PlayStation and Nintendo when they have to share those earnings with them? So whoever buys the Nintendo and PlayStation, they got to give them 30%, right? Yep. Why would they be the one to put the bill in their pocket so that they can be having to pay Nintendo and Sony? You see what I'm trying to say?
It's what you call small bank thinking.
Yeah.
Because the way they see it. This was actually meant to be another point, but we can go into it. But yeah, it's just that it's funny because all right, I keep bringing them back up, but I'll bring them up again. The RDX podcast got real heated. I mean, I'm sure they're cool now, but I think it got ultra heated. Because out of everybody in that podcast, D-Batch was the only one who was like, no. They need to go ahead and put those games on PlayStation because that's the only way they're gonna recoup those losses. And
right.
and yeah, and dealer and Zucker, they're like, losses? What fucking losses are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he's like, no. He's like, this makes much sense. And so what's his name? Jez Corden, who I really don't give two shits about. And I
Yeah,
don't
I
care
can't
if it gets,
stand that dude.
yeah,
Right.
even if this gets out to him. I will agree.
It is what it is. You're saying the truth.
Yeah, but I will say that I agree with what he said 110% solid as a rock. Is that why in the world would you pay almost $8 billion for a resource to help empower you and change the negative narrative about you and share it with your most heated competition that has never shared anything with you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Why would
That's
you?
right.
Why would you do
The
that?
whole reasoning and madness behind it, Fireballs, is that Microsoft, they kept saying, need more exclusives, right?
Exactly.
We all can agree, right? All of us can agree, right? They needed
Yes.
exclusives. This was the reason. That's the reason. They want to build exclusives to keep feeding Game Pass.
What's up, Ray Sean?
23 studios,
What's
right?
going on, Ray Sean?
23. Hey, Ray Sean, how are you? 23 studios, right? And now, because they have so much pedigree and talent between those 23 studios, okay, they can literally put any IP and put it in any of their hands, and it'll be in good hands. Because they all have experience. They don't need to sit there by them and look at them. What are you guys doing? You guys doing the right thing? Which was the problem they faced when they were doing Scalebound, right? When they were doing Scalebound.
I think Scalebound was kind of a mixed thing. I
know some ins and outs because I know someone that talks directly with people. I can tell you after, off the show, because I don't want to put names out there. But it was mainly, put it like this. They were funded and given a purse, right? And the ramblings of the numbers was $100 million to make the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of them investing their whole time and dedication to that project, which Hideki Kamiya came out and said, listen, this has been my dream game all my life, right? But yet he didn't prioritize it. And instead they end up doing like 8 other games with other people.
Wonderful 100.
And split their teams, right? To do the other games as well. Instead of all 200 of the members of that Platinum Games working on the biggest project that has ever been given to them. Because remember, they did Korra, they did Ninja Turtles, they did Transformers, they did the the Star Fox, okay, for the Nintendo Wii. They did Nier Automata, they did Bayonetta 2, they did all this was within that whole time span, right? They did like 8 games, and then we're working on the one with that company called Blue Gray, right? That was supposed to be an RPG, action RPG that looked incredible, but they dropped them also because they were meeting the demands or meeting the scheduling that they were given to finish the game as well. So it wasn't just Microsoft that dropped them; it was also them, and that's why you've seen wholeheartedly. That's why you've seen wholeheartedly, Mr. Kamiya, go tell Phil to let me come back and do Scalebound. I want to do it. Let him know because he fucked up. And Hideki Kamiya has a history and a track record of never, ever, ever giving anybody any type of credibility and saying, listen, this was their fault, all right? Or saying anything or admitting to anything. He's always been an asshole. He's always called people out. He's always blamed everybody else when it's somebody else's fault. In other words, if it would have been Microsoft's fault, he would have came out and straight up said it because he's very savage-like, especially on social media. He'd be like, oh, Microsoft was just being greedy. They didn't want to let us have creative freedom because that was the narrative that people were trying to push. Oh, yeah, I bet you that Microsoft don't want them to do what they want to do.
And real quick, real quick, it's funny for anybody that is listening or that will listen to this afterwards. It's funny what Hebot is saying because this goes into one thing where it's like I know a lot of people keep saying that they need to partner up with Sega and disguise the Series X and S as Sega systems.
Right.
No, that will not work because they are very honor bound people. Yes, they do have their scums. But they are overall general very honor bound people, and using underhanded tactics like that's no bueno. That does not work. That will actually shoot. That will shoot you in the foot.
This is what I can say to add to what you just said, right? Because it's a very good topic and a very good point. If they want to inquire Sega in any way, shape, or form to make them feel important, plus remember, there's a lot of government clause, right? You know, quote unquote clauses,
Stipulations.
and stipulations. Thank you. Looking that American companies can't really acquire Japanese companies just like that, flat out, right? For whatever reason, right? They know the reasons. That's neither here or there. If Microsoft were to acquire Sega, which I think, and if you guys seen my video, I explain why.
Yes,
I think
very good video he bought.
Thank you, thank you. I think it would be phenomenal for Sega and the brand, and why I think it would be a good move. I'm not talking about for bragging rights. I'm talking about to make Sega once again the company that they were of innovation and moving forward, because they need money. Without capital, you can't create innovation and move things forward. You understand? That's the biggest hit, right? So I explained that. In America, they don't need to do that. If Sega's under their wing, Sega's under their wings. They can stay the same way. But what they could probably do to help the Japanese market see Microsoft as a more Japanese entity and force is they could call it, right? They can call it the Sega Xbox, right? And put Sega's name somewhere entwined, only in Japan. What I said again, only in Japan, because it would cement like that Microsoft is serious about Japanese, their audience, right? The Japanese audience as far as gamers, and it's an American console that they're like more, so it would look more like a partnership as opposed to looking like they own them flat out, right? And that would probably alleviate the stipulations, like you said, right? Of any clauses and rules that are there stating where an American company can't really flat out own a Japanese company, right? Or a developer, whatever. And again, like I said, that's just my thought of thinking. I'm not saying that would work, because maybe them not doing will work either way because of the power that they have as far as financially, their pockets. But in a lot of ways, I don't understand why people see people act like if Microsoft, shamefully treats the industry and the developers like they're not important, or like they tell them, no, this is what you're gonna do, and that's it. They had that same misconception with Bungie. We saw that many years later, Bungie came out flat out said that was all a lie, right? And for many years they said it was. Then we saw that Platinum Games finally admitted, we really hate to see that Microsoft got the heat for what happened with Scalebound, because it really wasn't their fault. It was ours, right? And we have also seen when Rare came out and said that everything that they've done since the 360, from Cameo and Perfect Dark, Viva Pinata, Banjo, and even the avatars, because they're the ones who did all the avatar stuff, right? For the avatars.
Yep.
That all that was done by them because they asked Microsoft and they let them do it. Microsoft never told them, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. That's why you haven't seen a sequel to Banjo again, or to Battletoads, or to Conquer, because Rare does not like making sequels.
It was a completely new team too around that time, because the old guard left.
Yeah, it was complete freedom. And Microsoft, all this time they've been at Microsoft, they allowed them to do what they want. And that was another narrative that people were running with. Oh, look at Rare. They're a shadow of their former self because Microsoft took away all of their creative freedom. They did not let them do what they wanted to do. And it was all bull crap, right? For lack of a better term. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but it's funny because me and you must share the same brain waves, because ODT. Do you remember the idea I was shooting at you that would be real good, real beneficial if Jason Ronald and Phil went over to Japan and had in their hands a prototype, a stripped down version of the Series S and the Series X motherboards that could be put inside cheaper built arcade cabinets with compatible
I remember. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember.
1080p monitors able to do up to 120. That would help push next generation gaming into their arcades over there because arcade scene is still big over there, and Sega owns practically all the arcades.
And not only that, it's that even though the arcade's still bigger over there too, their games in the arcade they're still behind. They're not to the level. There's no arcade game still right now, even from Sega. Unfortunately, as sad as that makes, that is to the level of what we're getting now with consoles, PCs. You know what I'm trying to say? So that would definitely help push.
Because can you imagine Space Harrier or Thunderblade running at 120 frames per second?
Right. Or even put 4K monitors that run 4K. That would be beautiful. Absolutely.
And make it a sit down experience like Afterburner.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think that's a really genuinely really good idea that would probably help also Microsoft again build more bridges and partnerships in different aspects that still will connect with gaming overall in the home space and in the market space. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because every time it goes to the title, powered by Xbox.
Right.
Well, that's definitely one reason that I enjoy Game Pass and xCloud future that is coming our way pretty soon, because I think that you got your community gaming solution kind of solved a while ago. Now it's really speed, and speed is something that everybody except the higher countries have to work on, and that's the whole. Yeah,
damn speed.
It's the bandwidth. The bandwidth is really what's holding back a lot of situations with a lot of places and internet itself, even with Cablevision, because it's expensive. And these companies, as you know, these big conglomerates, since there's not a lot of competition in that space, they want to charge you an arm and a leg for old technology like 720 and 1080p, right? But they want to charge you prices that they technically should be charging you if you were getting high-speed 5G internet with 4K programming or even 8K. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is why gaming, to a certain extent, is still being held back, because that's why over here the TVs still are not up to date. You know what I mean? In Japan, they already have 8K, 12K even, because they're always ahead of the game.
Oh, you know, beautiful.
Here they don't have that. And at the same time, if Microsoft was able to establish that relationship, being ahead in Japan will help get ahead here once it comes here with more polish and no hiccups. You see what I'm saying? Because of the TVs, because of the receivers, all that stuff, right? You see how they implement HDR12, which no other console is going to offer on both S and X, right?
Yeah.
Which is a big deal, because that's the HDR that is used in, Dolby film, right? It's in what they use in movies, the highest quality of HDR. So, which is high dynamic range for those who don't know what HDR means. Well, which is basically the blacks and the whites and how they transfer in the image to make the quality of colors, of details, of draw distances and lighting look better and more realistic. So,
but everybody's got to make sure that you have your HDMI 2.1 from now on, because that's what allows your speed.
Well, this is the thing, Reaper. Every TV from last year coming forward, or even 2 years, have 2.1, but they're running on 60 hertz.
Yeah, now that's a different thing. I'm just
now you need 2.1. Now you need that 2.1, right? That is compatible with 120 hertz, and that's for the low latency. So that the low latency from the velocity architecture that it's offering, right, and that other technology they have with the S Series X and S, and I don't know if the PlayStation 5 even offers it. It might, I'm not sure, but I don't remember anything about it.
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Up to 60.
Right. That tech that Microsoft designed, though, I forgot what it's called. I remember Digital Foundry said what it's called. I forgot the name of it. Where it's for low latency, where they're implementing it in the controllers next year. For example, I think it's DLI is called.
Yeah.
Direct link
Yeah.
latency
Yeah.
input.
Dynamic latency latency y input.
Yes, that's what it's called, because they're going to put it through a firmware even on the existing Xbox One controllers through firmware, so they can work on your Xbox Series X. See what I'm
That'd
saying?
be cool. That'd be cool.
So, yeah,
That's right. That's the firmware update that allows all existing appliances to work on the next generation of hardware.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right. That's right, Repo. Yeah, and it's called DLI, like you said, dynamic latency input. Absolutely correct. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal, because that's just cementing that Microsoft is protecting your investment.
It's going to protect that you don't have to buy certain things over again.
Right, especially when you're playing, you don't fear that you're going to have bad performance, especially if you love playing online, and you're going to lose any type of quality performance when you're playing with an older controller versus a newer controller. They're still giving you the option that you don't have to feel like you got to go out and buy more new controllers. You can just rock out with what you have without any fear, which is great.
I still want to Elite 2.1, 2.0 though. I still want another one. I almost
right. No, of course, absolutely. Everybody probably go. I love that new one that they showed, the blue and white one that looks like the sign colors. That one looks gorgeous from the new Xbox.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny because all this work they're doing with the old peripherals and everything. Do any of y'all remember a few insiders of about over a month ago dropping that there was a chance that we might see a SKU of the Series S come out that's going to be, I think they said it's going to be like $250 because it's going to come without the controller.
Which one?
Oh man, it was like a while. I think we lost Sega, man.
Oh, you mean for the console itself?
Yeah, the console itself, where it was going to come without a controller, because there is going to be targeting people who are trying to get into it as low as they can.
Oh, and I remember that. And I just said you won't need to do that because it works with your hardware.
What's that?
It's going to be even cheaper.
The rumor that was going on?
Yeah.
Well, even if they went that route and did that, that probably would have still worked in their favor, because they are allowing you to use your existing controllers like your Elite, your Elite 2 with the new console. We don't have to worry about buying new controllers like they're doing with PlayStation 5. In PlayStation 5, you have to get the new controller. You have to, because they even said themselves, the only certain games that we allow will work with your PS4 controller with PlayStation 4 games. They were very clear. PS4 games that we select with your PS4 controllers and PS4 games, not PS5. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, that would probably have worked out in their favor. I don't remember hearing that, but I'm pretty sure you can cite it and show it to me, because you're a man that is, genuine, and you're not a liar. I hold your word. So I'm pretty sure you've seen this. I never purchased this, but that would have not probably been a bad idea. That probably would have worked in their favor. And I believe my son one time even said that they should just release a console without the controller and make it as cheap as possible, because all the controllers are, compatible. And I was like, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. So I'm surprised that rambling was going on, and that you brought it up, because, my son had sold that to me one time, like I think it was 5 months back ago. We were talking about everything that was going on, and he said that. So that's pretty cool that, it has some validation to it. But yeah, I think it would have worked. I think it would have worked in favor.
I mean, it would have been perfect for those folks out there that went a little bit out of hand with their controller collection.
Right.
Because I've been hearing about guys who have like 25 doggone controllers.
Yeah. I got no lie, Fireboss. And I've never really took a picture of them, but I probably will. I probably got like 20 controllers, 25 that I bought, because I bought all the ones. Like right now, they have the one that they're promoting that looks gorgeous, but it's a little pricey. That's why I'm not really probably gonna pick it up. But they have the two they showed. They have the one that's Gears Tactics, right? Mm-hmm. That's all black with all the chains going around it, with gears all around it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Right.
But it comes with the charger. Those are the ones they're doing now, that you got to buy it together with the charger. They don't sell it separate. And then they're doing one for the Rogue Squadron game that looks gorgeous. The exterior of the plastic looks like metal from the TIE fighter of the Star Wars ship with all the design stuff. So it looks like it was made out of that material. And it comes also with the charger, but both of them are running for $169. That's kind of pricey for me. Like,
yeah, that's up there.
It's kind of high because the controllers are usually normally like 65, right? And
they're down now a bit.
If they're custom, they're usually 70, 75 if they're custom, right? But then the controlling charge kit usually is 50. So even if you have 75 with 50, it's still just about the bracket, price bracket of like 135, 140. That's a little bit more reasonable. But I think because these are so high, especially with the Gears one. The Gears one is their license. I don't know why it's so high, but with the Star Wars, I kind of get because Star Wars licensing is very expensive. Disney is freaking greedy as hell with that licensing. They charge an arm and a leg every time. So to use it, you really got to pay out. So, I understand why it's so high, but still, if it would have been like 135, 140, I think it would have sold like hotcakes. But, again, we don't know the interiors, insides, the in and outs of the business and the deals and how it's all, the percentage of how they split it. So I can't really talk on it, but I think they're a little high. Now, if I see them cheaper, then I'll get them. But I did buy the one that was promoting the Jedi Fallen Order game that came out. That was with the black. I made a review on it that came with the charger, and I did it, and I love that controller. But I haven't touched it. I have it put away and stuff. Yeah, but I have like about 25, maybe 20 controllers. Yeah.
Man, I tell you right now, with considering how the simplistic the S and the X look, boy, I sure hope that they take this one dude's suggestion, because on the Insiders program, there's the Reddit for the Insiders program, they have the thread where you can make suggestions, and this one dude had a real nice suggestion that why not just open it up that design thing they have for the controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like, why not open that up for the consoles too?
Oh yeah. They've been asking for that since the Xbox X, and that would be ultra cool. Can you imagine if they get licensed or if they let you do like your own football team or basketball team or anything that they can pick up because they could do sports easily. They just have to make a deal. But make like I don't know, like if they can make like cartoons, old classic stuff, or even theme ones based off their IPs, like Banjo or Master Chief, whatever. The way you like Dragon Ball, yeah, that would be phenomenal. That would be amazing. Obviously, you're gonna have to pay extra because they do customs the right way. It's not just a sticker that they throw on top. But I think it would do well. I think it would because Design Lab did well. The controllers they do well. I never got a Design Lab when I want to. I want to do it with the He-Man theme colors with my name on it, but I've never done it. I never got into it. So something I would like to do and get my hands someday on. But yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd definitely be nice. Yeah, for sure. See, I saw somebody do a design of the Dreamcast, the Dreamcast theme with the Xbox controller and the Genesis when they were doing the ramblings of Microsoft buying Sega. And they look so gorgeous. They look like really nice. I was like, damn, I would buy that in a heartbeat. They look so nice. So nice. I don't know if you guys saw them, but I've
seen some pretty sick, like, custom designs so far on Twitter. That's amazing what everybody can think of.
Yeah. I see. I saw that. I was like, wow, that looks incredible, man. I definitely would buy that. Else, any Sega fan would. Like, real Sega fans, they would buy it because they just look so good. And they fit so well with the design.
Nice.
Yep. Oh yeah, E-Rock just messaged me, so I wonder if if we'd be able to squeeze him in because we still got our 2 subjects left, and moving right along to the next one. I'm sure you all saw the price of the revealed price of the external SSDs.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I wasn't really
200 something.
220 bucks.
Wow, man, that's pretty high up there
for 1 terabyte of storage.
Yep, it's kind of like this, me. It's like I knew it was going to be up there. I wasn't expecting it to be over 2, but at the end of the day, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you can't really damn them for it. And I'm also kind of shocked that they're really not getting that much blowback about it, because a lot of people are kind of rationalizing and understanding, like, okay, this.
I've seen people complain. I haven't. It's not like I haven't seen people not complain. That would be kind of insane. But no, like you're right. Not too many people are outraged. I think the word is outraged.
Is it possible to get that a little cheaper though? Is it possible?
And I'll tell you guys why when it's my turn.
Not until it basically gets a discount or it goes down in price, which it won't for a while because it's going to be one of a kind for a while.
Can you get an external SSD that will work with it cheaper?
Oh hell no.
That will work for the same reason that it works? No, not right now.
Okay.
This is the situation. Okay. The reason why it's so expensive, okay, is because they had to build the same tech that the Velocity architecture has in the Series X in that small thing, in the small card.
The
card
is fully customizable,
and the card is the size almost of an SD card. That's how small it is, right? Yeah. So when you
think of it like a PS2 memory card,
it's even smaller than that. It's even smaller than that, T. To compress that type of technology that small is expensive, and they had to do that because of the way they were designing the console to be so small and sleek. Couldn't take up space and put a big ass memory card in there, right? But it's running inside that card is the same tech of the Velocity architecture. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get any other SSD that's going to. They said it already. Even for PlayStation, there's no other SSD in the market or on PC that has the speed and technology that's going to run as perfect as the one that's inside the console, right? The memory in the console.
Okay. I had to point that out to a few people on YouTube as well, because they were like, "Oh, there's NVMe's that are just as fast and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. There are some that are just as fast, but here's the caveat: those speeds you're looking at are called, which also goes for the PlayStation 5. Also, those are peak speeds. Peak speed is not,
but not guaranteed for the
exactly. And it's not going to be maintained. As Jason Ronald stated, they were going for consistent, across the board, unwavering speed.
It's so that you can have the game running there and it runs exactly like it does inside the console. No hiccups, no latencies, no loading issues, nothing. It's the exact same speed. And no SSD, again, I'll say it, even on PC, has that type of technology and run. And even though they don't, put it like this, somebody put it, like the Samsung one that you could supposedly going to be compatible with PlayStation 5 that you can get. But remember, PlayStation 5 is not using external Velocity architecture to match what they're supposedly using in the interior of, in the silicone of the PS5. The only thing that runs at that speed of those variable refresh rates on the PS5 is the memory inside the PS5, and they're only limited to about 800,000 K or something like that, whatever it was, or gigabytes, right? Because the other takes the space is just dedicated for the UI, right? Whatever you connect to it is never going. So you're gonna have to keep erasing. That's the whole.
Yeah.
Cap out. With the Xbox, you can put any hard drive, and it'll work. They said it. You can store any of your smaller games, your 360 games, your indie games, or even your Xbox One games that may not be enhanced. You
can even run those games off of there.
Yeah, and you can even run them off those hard drives. The difference will be, though, you will see the difference in the speed and performance.
Yeah. The only difference is if you don't use the 1 terabyte external chips, it does not show the same performance as it would if you did.
Right. It will load up as fast.
Think the chips as an enhancer to what you already are holding, but it's that chip that allows you to enhance it forward.
It's just the same quality as the console. So if you put games in that terabyte card, you're never going to lose the performance. It's always going to. They said that was made for the ideal for only next generation games.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a quick question for you and Fire Boss, and even T Reaper. Now
The
I
answer is
have a
9.
huh? What? Listen,
I was saying that.
I,
I was just messing with you.
I have two right now external hard drives hooked up to the One X. One's a 6 terabyte and one's a 8 terabyte. So if I put and hook those up to my Series X, will I see a difference like when I have a hooked back? All those games I have stored in there. Will I see like a difference? In the games or
You'll see a difference between if it was stored on the ones that you already have and the new Velocity chips that are coming out. That's the only difference.
okay.
Yeah, if it depends, because if those drives are spec'd off of USB 2.0, then
Yeah.
you're gonna get 2.0 speeds and performance. But if
Yeah.
it's 3.1, it should be moderately a lot better. But
Yeah.
but the thing about it is that as Hebot was in ODT is expressing, you're not going to be able to do quick resume and all the other little nice new stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they said
Oh, I see.
No, they said you don't need the card to have quick resume. That it's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say it's not attached to the card. That's what I thought too. But you don't need that. That's a good thing. That's plus.
That
That makes people happy. But here's the thing. Again, like I said, what people don't understand is, yes, it's $219. Yes, it's pricey, but it's something that you don't have to buy right away. That's number one. And number two, if you're buying your Xbox day and date, right, through Xbox All Access, right, you're just paying $26 a month, right? You shouldn't have to worry about the extra expense because we don't have to worry about it. We got backwards compatibility with the games. We got backwards compatibility with the peripherals, and we got the option and the ability to pay for the console slow with Game Pass and Xbox Live included. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't really have that burden. You buy the $220 one, you can just put the rest of the money you had and buy one, and you can have one day one if you want. We don't have that burden. Now, if it was on PlayStation, that's a different story because they don't have no options. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 automatically launches with low space. So they have to buy external storage.
Yeah, you have to buy the new controllers. You have to buy the games. Some of them ain't even going to upgrade for free. You got to buy the console no matter what, flat out for $500, whatever. You see what I'm saying? They have no options. So if it was on their side, then I would be like, damn, that's fucked up. That's almost $1,000 when it's all said and done. But with us, we don't have that problem. And that's why I think Microsoft said it probably won't be so bad, the backlash, because people are going to have.
Well, the backlash isn't as bad also because it's really only for extra storage. That's the only thing that it gives you.
Right. It's an option that you're going to need.
There's 1 terabyte built into this Series X, right?
At the end of the day, by the end of next year, right? Well, by next year, right?
And by next year, the price will drop, and then your problem will be solved anyway.
It'll probably be like 179, 150, a little bit more reasonable, and people will be like, "Yeah, okay, we'll get it." You see what I'm saying? Because remember, PS Vita, their memory storage, that shit was like 150 when it came out, because it was custom only to that console. You couldn't use it for the memory card. Nobody ever said nothing. The Wii, listen. You have to get mandatory a freaking card for the Switch because there's not enough space in there to store all of your games. It has a very little amount, and the only ones that you can actually play off the memory of the Switch is the digitals. You can't really do it with physicals because the files are too big. So you have to get an extended memory, and 120 gigabyte or 1 terabyte freaking memory card that's regular. That's not even SSD. For the Switch, it's like $130, and it's not even SSD technology. You see what I'm trying to say? So when people say shit like that, I'm like, yo, you're being a hypocrite because nobody calls out Nintendo on that shit. Nobody called out PlayStation on that shit. But you want to call out Microsoft when it's out of their hands because it's something that's advanced technology. You know what I mean? Because it's running advanced technology. So, it is what it is. Guys, look, I'm going to step out for a few. I'll probably try to join back in because I'll be in my car, but I have to step out for the moment, get out and pick up my daughter. So just please excuse me for a few and thank you for at least inviting me. If I can't come back on, I appreciate
Oh,
it.
okay, man. No
Yeah,
problem, man.
thanks for coming, Hebot.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm going to try to come back. Like I said, it's just I got to go to the car. I'm going to get disconnected. I don't want to sound, messed up or whatever, but I'll try to come back on. Okay.
Okay, then.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right, Hebot. All right, brother.
Yeah, but also just carrying on with that a little, just a little bit more, is that oh shoot, sorry, I lost my words. My little brother was asking something, but yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
but anyways, but going along with what Hebot was saying and stuff like that is that another thing people kind of disregard is that the thing going on with Seagate with these cards, that as far as I'm aware, this is what I've heard, and it could be different, is that I think this is only for like maybe about a year or so, a little bit over a year. And think about it, anytime there's been anything proprietary, what is 6 months to a year later, what have we always seen? Third parties.
Yeah, third parties, yeah.
We that's when we start seeing the Mad Cats and the Pelican and all the other stuff like that. I mean, I don't even know if those brands even still exist. Because I oh god, Mad Cats fucked up my first Dreamcast.
Yeah.
After that, I've never touched another Mad Cats ever again.
You know it was good though. There was a good one, Logitech.
Though.
Oh, what was that, ODT?
I said the next generation of games are gonna their sizes are gonna be increased. That's also the reason why for the chips. And they had a custom built to extend that amount of size.
That
That.
And the thing is, there's a 2 terabyte that's actually lurking out there too.
I bet it's like $400.
Yeah, around 400.
Yep. But trust me, Kingston and Corsair are going to be. Trust me, they're in line, ready to drop theirs out.
Yeah,
I bet.
But I am actually I'm happy that we actually now got into the segment of like basically we're all ready to basically launch xCloud everywhere in the next like 6 to 8 months. I think that's awesome. And the ability of play anywhere is like legitly going to become self-aware. But right. I don't really care whether you play on a phone. I don't care whether you play on a tablet, Xbox, consoles. Play anywhere. That's the idea.
Exactly. and that actually that's actually moving us into the next thing. Final closing thoughts on the Bethesda buyout, because it's been a hot topic all this week for everybody. I done made 2 videos about it already, and I don't know if we're going to hit it again this Sunday because I think some other things are being lined up. So, but final thoughts on the Bethesda thing for you, Sega Man.
Oh man, when I heard about that, brothers, man, I was so excited, man. You know what I mean? I had a guy after I think I did a little something on it, came in my comment section. He said, "I don't see what you're talking about. It'll still be, we'll still get those games." And I said, "Yeah, but we're going to get them on Game Pass." I wrote this to him in there. I said, "We're going to get them on Game Pass, but you'll be paying $70 on your little PS5." And I said, "Have a nice day." And I never heard back from him.
No, in all honesty, no. It's for him. It's more the horror is going to really sink in. They're not going to get those games.
Oh
no, because we were talking about that. You don't, just like Jez Corden was telling D-Batch, you don't shell out almost $8 billion to play nice with somebody, in the same sandbox with somebody who doesn't want to play nice with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the thing is, when they said case by case basis and everything, well, as Phil was quoting it, he was only talking in reference to the games that are like already out there, like Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, where
he was arguing for the titles that he can control that go wherever they choose.
You know,
so case by case. But the thing is that everything is going to go on Game Pass, so you can have it on your PlayStation 5 for $70, while all of Xbox Game Pass community pays $15 a month and has it unlimited.
Yeah.
It's a fraction of the price. So you lose either way. And it's also now Microsoft Studio. You lose either way.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a win-win for us. And now I got a question for you, T Reaper and Boss. Now we are acquiring them. We got them for all those games like Doom. Is Doom going to be exclusive to Xbox?
Yes.
I think it's going to be exclusive to Game Pass.
To Game Pass?
Yeah.
When you say Doom, you mean in the next one, Doom 2?
Yeah, he's talking about the resurrected Doom, and because part of the reason that Phil went to Bethesda first is because it has all the OG titles that basically boosted us from the very beginning. So you got your Doom, you got your Fallout, you got your Skyrim. Skyrim will be exclusive. Just watch. And then you got your Wolfenstein, which is now saved from like being dead.
Yeah, so more.
I think the big one would be Fallout and Skyrim. The two of them will be like the big ones that they focus on.
But what about just one more? What about one of my favorite on there is Wolfenstein?
Yeah, that's the one I just said. I want to see
Wolfenstein.
I want to see Wolfenstein 3. Actually, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna. And see, thing is, even a lot of media outlets have, I guess, once the shock finally got over, because then you had those who were like, "Oh, that's not fair. Xbox should share."
Xbox is going to share to all those that want to share with. But I really do believe that buying Bethesda, you allow it access to Game Pass, which will allow it access to more consumers through more devices that xCloud via mobile allows, and it's going to be powered by Japan. So it's kind of like a reverse power works the same way.
Yeah, and that's basically it. It's just that it's like, if you want to, more or less, is like this. And it's like everybody is just seething mad with like Jez Corden and what's his name, Tim Warren and all that, because they're already calling it that. It's like, no, other than the games that have contractual obligations like Deathloop and all that.
Yeah.
And the games that are already out there, such as like Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online. No, there is no other games coming to no other platform unless it's inside the Xbox ecosystem. So you're going to have the choice to play it. If you don't want to have an Xbox, fine, get it on your PC, get it via Steam or Windows Store. Or through Game Pass. But if you don't,
ask them to get an iPhone or an Android.
Exactly. Those are the answers. And oh boy, woo, the hate.
It was pretty soon, but the idea is that Play Anywhere activates pure consumerism and not bad consumerism. Sony. And
there's got to be an answer to it, because I mean, here it is. We see what's it called, Luna, whatever it is.
Yeah, Luna. Yeah, I don't know too much about that types of stuff yet, so I'd be interested to learn about it. I'm not really concerned more about Amazon versus Apple, though. That's kind of what I'm kind of looking at.
Oh man, there really isn't much to versus Apple. That Apple Arcade is garbage.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that if you take the xCloud and you put it on the Apple models, then how will you basically do that with Luna? How does that compare? So I'd just be kind of interested between that two comparison.
Yeah.
Even Google Stadia versus that, you could do the same thing.
So, but yeah.
What was I going to ask you guys? There was something I wanted to ask you guys too about that. What's funny about them is when they found out about Microsoft buying them, and you hear all them crying and whining and say Microsoft needs to share. How come they don't? How come if we were to say you guys need to share some of your stuff, then what? It'd be backlash about it.
Oh, dude, they was dancing in the streets, and lots of nanny boo boos when the whole Spider-Man thing went down. Because think about it, before that, Spider-Man was always, multi-plat.
Yeah.
For all throughout the Spider-Man movies, even the Spider-Man movies that were like, produced by Sony, they were still multi-plat games.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh no, this is exclusive. You guys aren't getting this. So that was a shock to a lot of the Xbox and Nintendo fans, because they're like, holy crap! It's like, we like Spider-Man too. Well, too bad. If you like it, then get a PlayStation. So
Yeah.
there you go. Fucking 180 degrees karma. Full fucking turnaround. Like,
Yeah,
well, now
yeah,
look what we have here. We got some dudes over here with their tongues out wagging. You look thirsty.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is this, though, it goes beyond the games as well. Another thing is, like, as ODT, I know, is really chomping at the bit about to get into, is it's also about their technology as well, because not just the teams and the talent and the games, they also have access to the powerful id software, the engine that powers Doom.
Very good, very good.
Their Orion cloud libraries. So I mean, and also their VR. They have a lot of VR stuff.
Yeah.
So they have full, flat out, hands-on access to all of that, and I'm very sure that they're going to be making a lot of usage of it. And I'm sure those of us who are like really, really harping at seeing them dip into VR, this is probably that first step into it, because I'm willing to bet that this deal is not something that just happened within the past few months, because Bethesda has always been up for sale. I mean, I just found that out myself as well, that they've been up for sale for a very, very long time.
It's been a working relationship for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who better? They both collaborate together very well. So you would think Microsoft would buy them anyways. You know what I mean?
And what's the name? Ron Howard, as Larry Herb was asking him and stuff like that. He really seemed to really hover over the aspect of the hardware. In other words, the Series X and S. And Bethesda has always been about power. So, because the first thing he goes about is like, oh yeah, we had to go back and rework our engine that we were going to use for Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield.
I mean, look how Doom looks on Doom Eternal looks way better on the Xbox One X than the PlayStation Pro.
Yes.
Hands down.
So it's going to be that game of unlimited power.
That kind of vibe has been with me all week, actually, as the news breaks. But it's just like when you basically have power as your like ally that runs everything, including your server, including your speed, you really can't go wrong, except for taste, which is something that everybody in this world works on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think they're done. I think they're going to I mean, they've really been flooring us with games and flooring us with like other things. Like, remember, before Bethesda, it was EA being added into Game Pass, and then this. So I think there's gonna be something else before launch. I believe they're gonna maybe do something else. That's my theory. I think there's gonna be something else they're gonna bring.
There is more coming. There's more surprises in store. We're Xbox not done yet. I can actually say that. So we're not done yet.
You know what?
We're not done yet, but we're
man. Reaper, that would be great. I mean that would be.
We're not. The mouthpiece can say we're not done yet. So but I can't say how we're not done yet. There could be studio purchases. It could be different models.
That's like
that would be
awesome. That's kind
of why I posted the links that I was sent earlier this afternoon, and it includes your original XP Windows iOS data was basically leaked everywhere for years upon years now.
I saw that.
And then the other one was the iPhone Apple submission. And
okay.
in October 1st. So,
well, hey T and Fireboss, let me ask you guys this quick question. Remember when Phil Spencer was interviewed on MSNBC, and the guy was talking, like trying to deflect. You know, he was talking about
a really good interview
about Apple, and he said, "Well," Phil said, "Yeah, well, you know, we're still working out. You know, we're trying to work out stuff." But you know, Phil seemed like he was being a little stern with the guy. You know what I mean? Because the guy seemed like he was trying to, you know, find something, you know, wrong with, you know, the end, like asking him about Apple. You kind of knew that was going to come up.
Yeah.
That's because at the time of that interview, what he was talking about was the fact that Apple didn't really want to play ball, and Phil was just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dude may be a gamer and developer, but he ain't stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so he's been riding that choo-choo train for a good while. So he's very into what's going on. But ODT's right. They're not done. This is like, you know, Sony being thrown out the window and then dragged back into the bar. Like, oh no, we ain't done yet.
And you know what? And you remember what Limited Run Productions said? If they would have just kept their mouth shut and stopped saying Xbox has no games, they have no exclusives, and they did that for years and years. And Phil and them really paid attention to that, so it's their own fault and demise that this is happening to them.
Yes, because there's actually a dude that actually said that in the RDX podcast and stuff in the chat thing. He actually said that, and I wanted to go. I guess he won't make it back because I'm probably gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. But he actually said it. He was like yes, but he was like, take a bow, clap your hands, pat yourselves on the back. You fucked yourselves because all you had to do was just shut up. Enjoy your games just as we were enjoying our games. He said it the best. He was like, a lot of you don't seem to understand this. Why can't you get this through your heads? You've seen this yourselves. Phil and Aaron and Matt are very active on social media. They will actually answer you back.
Yeah.
What made y'all think they weren't listening and saw that? And he said the thing is, and he said in all honesty, Phil probably doesn't really even have a anger bone in his body.
Yeah.
But he said, but the thing is, how this twisted around on you guys, thinking that you're funny. He was probably thinking, oh, hey, I guess they don't like the platform because we don't have enough games. Oh, okay, let's buy the Bethesda. That'll get us more games. Way to go. Let's put
EA in Game Pass, and you know EA's going to have stuff coming in there too.
I wouldn't doubt that's the next phase that you have, because with EA you also have EA Access right at the bone of Origins, and then you're set on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he was like, yes, applause. Fucking V8 head slap moment. Way to go. You handed it to yourselves. So I'm thinking the next step, and I could be wrong because I've heard somebody said that supposedly Amazon is in talks with them, but I would like to think that as tightly as they've been working together, that Ubisoft's Uplay would be the next thing integrated with Game Pass. I would like to think that, but I guess we would have to see.
But
I wonder
what would you have? What would you think would be better in Game Pass? Your EA selection or your Ubisoft collection?
To be honest with you, neither one of them really has anything that I'm interested in.
Yeah, but from a profit standpoint, what would you think?
Be honest with you, from a profit standpoint, I would say both of them.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so I would say both of them, but the only reason I kind of was deflecting it a bit is because there's been like, a little bit of, snippets throughout the Reddits and everything that I guess
both companies have bad rap. I'm not denying that, but they make awesome games. So.
Oh yeah, but no. Those snippets that Amazon is already in talks with Ubisoft to do something like what Microsoft is doing with EA in a Game Pass. So, like I said, I don't know how factual that really is. So I guess the only thing we can really do is kind of keep our ears to the ground
Yeah.
about it and stuff. So, but
Well, the next thing that I kind of see kind of happening, and it's probably going to be what Microsoft is complaining about for the next probably 6 months until we kind of fix it, is the add-on problems that Apple will add to that mobile selection of xCloud, because they're not going to want something for that easy of an issue. That's kind of their problem. They always want profit out of it, and now they're just going to tax you for it, which I think is kind of stupid. You know, why not just allow why not just allow xCloud app there? And why do you have to charge someone to actually even access the xCloud on that? That just makes no sense.
Well, the way they was wanting to do it, they was wanting to more or less get paid per game that you stream.
Yeah, they want you to like double pay for Microsoft, but Microsoft's like, hell no.
No, it ain't happening.
you're gonna allow us access, and that's it.
Yep. But the thing is, that right there, that situation, I keep going to it. I know it's old, but that situation with them is the exact situation where I keep saying that, telling people that don't sit there expecting Game Pass on your Switch. You know, it's because the thing is, one, it's like Nintendo is basically opening the gate for a direct competitor to their own marketplace, and two, on top of that, they are going to have to surrender complete system access of that, in order for because that's the one big issue that Phil in one of his few interviews was harping about with Cuphead and Ori, was that they really could not optimize those games the way they really wanted to, because they couldn't get that more lower access into the hardware like they wanted. And there's not many companies that are willing to do that type of thing, because that's what you call trade secrets. And even if it's not a direct competitor, it's still a competitor, and you don't, there isn't very many board members of any company that's very open about opening their stuff up that wide for a competitor.
Yeah.
So it has to be something that
will allow 50-50. So one competitor shakes the other person's hand, but you both have to put your hand forward. But some people don't just put their hand and expect something to give it back, and that's not how it works.
Yeah, and it's got to be something agreed by the whole board across. Across all checks. It's got to be everybody sitting at that board has to be on board with it. And it's like, and the thing is, I mean, Phil probably already thought about this, because I know there was rumblings from him of an interest of trying to get, Game Pass on the Switch, but no,
you can't really nudge Nintendo that easily, though.
No. And to me, it's like this. In all honesty, though, it's a big enough net being cast out, being able to, stream the games through xCloud onto any Android device, be it a phone or tablet.
Yeah.
You're able to access the games on your computer, because so many people, brag about, well, I don't need an Xbox, I got a pretty good computer. Oh, hey, there you go.
I don't need an Xbox, I have a phone.
Yeah, you're like, shoot. You're like, what's that? You got a high-powered PC? Well, good for you, Sparkles. Hook it up.
I got a tablet the size of my screen.
So you of all people is good to go. But sorry, Hebot, just saw you pop back up.
No worries, man. No worries. Go right ahead.
Okay, but yeah, I'm like I said, I'm getting ready to close it out and everything. But I was just getting everybody's last minute views on the Bethesda buyout, because this has already been beaten to death all throughout the week, and I don't know if anything's going to be touched on about it this Sunday because of other things.
Right.
So I just I was getting everybody else's thoughts, and what are your thoughts about this buyout?
Well, the Bethesda buyout is basically Microsoft just doing a power move that makes sense for building, for growing the Xbox family, the ecosystem, growing Game Pass, growing their library. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Microsoft are out here trying to, they're trying to. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm
I hear
having
that. I hear that. I hear that. Yeah, I hear that
yeah,
weather
an
warning.
emergency broadcasting on my phone. Hold on. Give me a second.
You might want to put your car in reverse.
Please apologize.
No,
I apologize for the technical difficulties.
no, it's an emergency broadcast. Ponies are getting ready to get ready to jump off buildings.
They even do it on Fridays. Jesus, you would think they're out getting laid, having some fun or something. Jesus. Anyway, so like I was saying, it's a power move to grow their library because I've seen a lot of people, right, saying things. Turn it off completely, please. I've seen people out there saying that oh, Microsoft is out here trying to pimp the industry, trying to monopolize it, trying to buy out everybody because they have money, blah 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 blah. And okay, like we so eloquently put it not too long ago, about 2 podcasts ago. I believe you have brought it up, Fireboss, but I brought this up many times as well. That's how the whole existence of Sony, the whole how they started was buying off everything that they knew no one else could buy, like Nintendo or Sega. That's why when the PlayStation came out, the Saturn died very quickly. There was no competition for a while, and even when the 64 came out, it really couldn't really compete because of pricing, because of third parties weren't supporting the console as much, and everybody was just floodgating to the PlayStation 1. Same thing with PS2. Same, the Dreamcast came out. It was an amazing console for an amazing price with amazing developers and amazing games. Very short-lived. That we still didn't see the full potential. And once PlayStation brought out that announced, oh, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to have a DVD player. And on specs, on sheets, looked like it was going to be a better console. When in reality, wasn't even the case. Again, PlayStation was the only one out for at least several years, at least 2 to 3, with no competition because the third-party developers just ran off and went to PlayStation. And as we all know, we didn't get a GameCube until very later. And then, we got the Xbox OG, which they, came in very late. And that's why they started first after, the generation after that with the 360. So, Sony's whole existence has always been to buy out everything. But the difference, right, between Sony and Microsoft and why Microsoft is doing these types of moves is for 2 things. One, they only had 5 studios that were in-house. That's it. They didn't have a lot of studios. So it's impossible to try to build a big gaming catalog with AAA quality games, meaning games that are bigger and more expensive, right? And not just smaller quality games like Cuphead, let's say, or Ori, right? For example, with other developers, when you don't have enough independent in-house developers, right? Your own. And Sony, through the years, have bought and bought and bought, and they have a nice amount of in-house developers. That's why they were able to keep bringing out a AAA quality game from their side, from their perspective, the way they do it, like a movie, right? 1 year, one company, 1 year, the next company, or maybe even 2 in the next year. That is the reason why, because they had more in-house development. And then, of course, we're not going to talk about how Hideo Kojima, since he loves sucking on their brand because he's Japanese and he has an attachment with them, went to them and, I want to put Death Stranding on there, not on Xbox. Even though the first Metal Gear was on the MSX, which was a computer software, which was the computer software that ran those early computer games back in the day. And that's where Metal Gear Solid came out first before the NES, which a lot of people don't even know that, right? So he basically got put on the map by Microsoft, right? Even back then, right?
Yeah.
But people don't realize that. So, that's a different case scenario. That's just him playing favoritism because he said, I'm more synonymous with Sony because my game was there. Metal Gear Solid 3D was on the PS1 and it was successful. So whatever the case may be. So, Microsoft had to build more studios. They needed more studios so that this way they can keep feeding Game Pass. They needed more studios so this way they can make more AAA quality games. They needed more studios to have more games consistently and give other developers alleviation and rest so that they can work on their next project. So they can have breathers and have more time to think out what they want to do next and make it quality and make it polished, and not have to worry about and rely on things like a microtransactions and things of that nature. So that is why they built that relationship. And again, Bethesda and them make sense because they have established a relationship since the OG, because they put their games on PC on the OG Xbox since the OG Xbox. So you know what I mean? The marriage made perfect sense because of that, because they had a history. They're on the same page for more than most of the time. They both have the same ideals and ambitions and how they want to approach gaming as a whole. It's the same reason why Insomniac went with Sony, because they've always been synonymous with Sony. All their games been there, all their IPs were there, except for the 3 they did multi-plat, right? Which was Fuse, Song of the Deep, and obviously Sunset Overdrive, right? But again, it all goes back with the relationship they have built with Sony. It made sense that they went with Sony, especially after they had the success with Marvel, because Marvel's the big dogs in town right now, and they have a big pocket, so they want to keep making games to keep making money, even though compared to what Bethesda just made with Microsoft, it looks like prostitute money, but that's neither here nor there. So, you know, Bethesda just, they have a good relationship. It's a good marriage. And it's just to cement and to show people that we're saying Microsoft is dead. They're not really serious about gaming. The future of Xbox is at a whim and its legs. We don't know what's going to happen. They won't be here for long. They're going to be gone in a couple of years. It was basically to solidify and cement, listen, we're here. We mean business. We're here to stay. We're here for the long-term run. And we're here to make sure that we make our gamers feel important with our ecosystem, our brand, and the games library that we're going to try to build for you, right? That is only going to be present on our ecosystem. You see what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line, you know. Plus, they know that players like Amazon and Google wanted to come to the forefront, so they're basically trying to cut off all corners before they get a chance to breathe, to get some type of clout, and try to get in the same bracket as them or maybe ahead. And that's what they're doing. They're just basically trying to cut off them because they know they're big players. They can come in because they have the money, but they don't have the experience Microsoft does in the gaming scene, you know? So that's why they did that. You know, it's not about bragging rights. Like when Sony buys a company or a studio, it's because they want to be like, here you go, screw you. We got them now. You ain't getting no more games from them, and you got to buy our console. That's Sony's mentality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do it almost out of spite and reactionary. Like if they buy a company like Capcom, it's because they just want to make sure that none of the Capcom games in the future get on Xbox on purpose. You see what I'm saying? Not because they're trying to establish more studios because they need them, or because they want to build a bigger portfolio. No, because they want to make sure that they stick it to Microsoft and people go buy the PlayStation and not Xbox. That's not the mentality behind Microsoft. Their mentality is they just want to grow because they want to make their ecosystem the best they can for their fans and their gamers. Because if that was the case, they would have never helped people like Moon Studios, Studio MDHR, Mojang, or even Playful Games with Super Lucky's Tales, and allowed them to put it on PlayStation or even on the Switch. You see? You know, that's the difference between Microsoft and everybody else out there. That's my thought. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Back in the OG Xbox day, remember when Doom 3 was on there? It could only be ran on the OG Xbox. It couldn't even run on the PlayStation 2. Correct?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. The reason why they chose the Xbox console and platform was because it was the only console at the time powerful enough to run it the way that they were running it on PC. And you know, it still was inferior to the PC, but it was pretty damn close. You see what I'm saying? And, and you guys seem to forget that ever since Xbox came to the scene, they always had the most powerful console at the most reasonable price. Because the OG Xbox, right, was $300 when it came out. And it ran circles over the PS2. The hardware wasn't even comparable.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It wasn't even comparable, you know? So you know, and they weren't overcharging, and people still be like, oh no, their console's not great. Even to be honest, even Xbox One, that's they cut corners in how they designed it, but they put the right tools in there that if you utilize it correctly, you can still get the better performance, even better than every other console competitively with with the ES RAM. That is why when they went to the developers from Diablo and Destiny, when they were having problems getting it at 1080p at 60 frames and 30 frames, once they went there, that is why they got the games running the exact same way on the Xbox One that they did on the PlayStation 4. You see? Because they made it harder to develop for, developers are like, listen, they're not the leading platform. People are really buying PlayStation first right now more. Why should we bother to do the extra work? Because it's going to be more money and they're probably not going to sell as much on the Xbox anymore. That was the mindset. You see what I'm saying? And this is why you saw very few people utilize it. But when you saw the first parties, you saw it. Because till to this day, and I'll tell everyone, the OG Xbox, we're talking about the VCR, like people like to call it, still had games at 1080p in 60 frames. The PS4 regular, slim, and regular never did. You see what I'm saying? It never did. So that tells you that talk about, oh, it's more powerful. No, that's bullshit. It was harder to develop, but it was just as capable. You just needed to do the more work, and it cost money. It was just basically like Saturn versus PlayStation 1. The Saturn was a lot harder to develop for than it was for PS1, and that's why a lot of developers also chose to go that route. And the console was cheaper because they didn't pay not one dime for the R&D. It was Nintendo, right? So they were able to afford that loss of $100 when they put it out. All they did was put the brand new video 3D chip to give you better video quality on the PS1 versus the Saturn. That was it. That's all they did. So, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But, you know, but you're right. That's why Zoom was on OG, because it was the only console capable of running it at that time. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right, guys. Well, we're now closing in at almost 2 hours. We pretty much hit all our topics. I appreciate Hebot coming in at the last minute to save the day.
No, I told you. Listen, we're brothers in gaming. We're brothers, in real life, because we have respect for each other. And I told you, if I can come in, I can help you. You don't hesitate. You just ask. Send me the link if I can come in. Like I tell everyone that I've ever rocked out with, it'll be my pleasure. I'll come in. If I can't, I'll tell you, listen, I can't make it, but it's nothing personal. It's never. If I can help out my friends and my brothers, I'm more than happy to, because it's a pleasure. I always have a good time when I talk and rock out with you guys. It's always fun. I'm always having a good time because we talk gaming. We don't really talk about nonsense. We try to talk gaming.
Yeah, and the thing that I really like about this anyway is that sometimes, well, all right, when you look at everything, especially online on the social media, it's all one-sided. And that's actually what stirs me up, is that it's all one-sided. It's all, like, oh, Xbox this and that, and you guys don't know what good gaming is, and it's kind of like, but you're saying all this and you don't understand what. In other words, it's basically like like making a bunch of noise. It's like looking at a dog barking up at a tree, and there's no reason.
Fireboss, remember the article today that came out where IGN put up saying Microsoft bought Bethesda, but they need to not keep their IPs exclusive on Xbox.
Oh, I saw that mess.
Really? So go tell Sony why they have Neo, Street Fighter, Spider-Man, Berserk, Fist of the North Star, and all those other games like Persona or even the Yakuza or Judgment still exclusive on their console. When the difference is Microsoft owns those Bethesda IPs now. Sony doesn't own none of those IPs.
Exactly.
So that's the biggest difference. And yet they don't. And they're still not on Xbox. Like the logic. You see what I'm saying, brother? So yeah, you're absolutely right. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yep. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Before we go, Hebot, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. As always, you can find me at my YouTube channel, which is Hebot, obviously. On social media like Twitter, I'm Hebot, the most powerful gamer, right? On Instagram, I'm under C_respect. On Xbox, I am Hebot Space 8. On PlayStation, for those who want to look for me there, Al Fell from Sky. On the Switch, I believe, Hebot 8 also. And then obviously you can find me on the Exile podcast every Sunday night with my brother E-Rock and all these distinguished gentlemen. And of course, if with my brother Fireballs, you can, in the weekly wrap up, because I know he won't have a problem inviting me whatever he wants. I'm part of here too. You can find me here as well.
That's right.
And in my podcast, We Got Next One, I'm able to do it.
Oh, all right. That's right. You can find Hebot
Yes.
at the
Yes,
top of Castle
got
Free Skull,
next, yeah.
getting ready to throw Skeletor off. Sega Man, where can everybody find you? Hello? Did we lose him?
Man, you can always find me on my YouTube channel at Sega Man 10. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah. No, we can hear you now.
You hear me?
Yeah. No, keep going. Yeah.
You know?
Sega
Hello?
Man, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we hear you fine. Yeah, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Okay. All right, guys, you can always find me on my YouTube channel, man, at Sega Man 101. You can also find me, every Sunday with all my Exile brothers on the Exile podcast. Check us out at 8 p.m. And this was a great week wrap up here, Fire Boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks.
It was awesome, man, especially with all the great news with Xbox. That was great, man.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'll be looking to do this every Friday around 8.
Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll definitely be sending out invites again.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, ODT Reaper. Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
I'm always just floating around on Instagram. My Instagram is legit what my name is on screen. And I am starting to...
It was good to have Hebot, our brother, in here.
And I'm floating around on Twitter now. So I am still awake. Haven't slept yet.
And on Xbox, it's the same thing. ODT Reaper.
Yeah. Same picture, too.
Yes. AT, you should start doing more videos again. You used to make some good videos, man.
Yeah, but once I kill 6,000 of them, I don't need to make another video again.
Videos of what you're having fun now on Xbox, dude.
Well, I'm having fun on my Halo 5 servers. Once I actually get going, I actually have fun. But I can only play maybe about 5 to 6 matches a day, and then I get tired. But then I get too tired to actually restart for like another couple days. But I've been getting like I got like a double stick in one shot. I was like, you got to be kidding.
Nice.
I see all the noobs kind of flooding into the servers now, so it's kind of nice.
Nice.
All right. Okay. On that note, once again, I'm Boss. Enjoy your gaming and enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming out, everybody. And to my esteemed panel, dude, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
No, the pleasure's all ours. Thank you.
It was fun.
All right.
Have a good weekend, man.
Weekend, everyone.
Have a good weekend.
All right.